Without me, you're nothing. That was his favorite line. He said it so often it became background noise, like the hum of an airplane engine. The first time he said it, I laughed nervously, brushing it off as ego. But the night I found my name printed on a Penthouse deed with his signature above it, I knew it wasn't just words. And the night I posted that deed online, I knew I had just lit a fuse I couldn't put out. I'm 29. Flight attendant. New York-based. Grew up in Jersey. Mom's a nurse. Dad works on cars. My life was simple. Coffee at 5 a.m. Airports at sunrise. Constant jet lag. My dream wasn't a luxury apartment in Manhattan. It was maybe, someday, affording a one-bedroom without roommates. That was my ceiling. And then I met him. He was the CFO of a major airline. 50 years old, polished like a magazine ad. Sharp suits, silver watch that probably cost more than my yearly salary. He carried himself like gravity bent toward him. We first crossed paths on a Zurich flight. He gave me a half smile, a nod, like he already knew me. Later that night, the crew went out for drinks. He was there too. His cologne, sharp, woody, expensive, cut through the stale bar air. He placed his phone face down on the counter, screen hidden, like he was always guarding secrets. At first, it felt like a cliché romance movie. He pulled strings to get me on his flights, slipped notes under my hotel door. Dinner? Written in impatient pen strokes. When he talked, I leaned in, trying to keep up. He'd say, "You're too sensitive," when I raised doubts. Or, "I know what's best for you." I should have recognized those as red flags. But when someone with that much power focuses on you, it's intoxicating. You convince yourself you're chosen. Then came the gift. Miami layover. Rooftop dinner with champagne I couldn't pronounce. He slid a velvet box across the table. My heart raced. I thought jewelry. Inside were keys. Heavy, metallic, attached to a tag with a Tribeca address. "It's yours," he said casually, like offering gum. A penthouse. Don't ask questions. Just enjoy it. And was sharing a 2-bedroom in Queens with 2 roommates who fought about groceries. Suddenly, I had floor-to-ceiling windows, marble counters, a doorman greeting me by name. I wanted to believe it was love, but deep down, I knew it was leverage. The penthouse felt like a museum, smelled like fresh paint and new leather. Perfect surfaces, but no warmth. No laughter, no clutter, no signs of life. Just silence. And a drawer in the glass desk where he kept the deed. One night, curiosity got me. I opened the drawer, pulled it out. Embossed stamp, crisp paper. His name. My name. Proof. My hand shook as I snapped a picture with my phone. That was the moment I realized I wasn't just living in his world. I was evidence of it. Weeks later, after one more midnight call where he demanded a selfie to prove where I was, I snapped. I uploaded the photo. Not even well lit. Lamp glow, shadows, my chipped nails in the corner. But it didn't matter. Reddit grabbed it. Threads exploded. Screenshots flew across group chats. Colleagues DM'd me. "Is this you?" Strangers dissected every detail. At 3 a.m., my phone lit up. His name, I answered. His voice was low, tight. "Take it down. Now." He didn't wait for my response. "Do you have any idea what you've done? You're ruining us both." NNTHAT phrase stuck with me. Us both. As if the risk was equal. He still had his career, his family, his power. Me? I had a blurry photo on the internet, and a storm barreling toward me, and that was the moment I knew nothing would ever be the same. The next morning, my phone was a grenade. Notifications piled so fast I couldn't even clear them. Group chats lit up, half asking, "Is this you?" and half sending memes. I walked into work and felt eyes following me. A flight attendant whispered, "I wish someone bought me that." A captain smirked, "Guess we know why he likes those Zurich flights." My stomach burned. My supervisor pulled me aside, muttering, "Keep your head down, this'll blow over." Spoiler, it didn't. NNTHAT night. He texted, "Come to the penthouse. We need to talk." I went, because some part of me still thought I had to. Bad decision. NNHE was slouched in the armchair, jacket thrown over the couch, tie undone. The city lights framed him like a painting. He didn't look at me when he said, Do you have any idea the damage you've caused? And I finally snapped. Do you have any idea what it's like to be treated like a purchase? NNHI's head lifted slowly, eyes sharp. No one will believe you. You're just a flight attendant? And that's when I realized it. He wasn't scared for me. He was scared for himself. NNTHE Penthouse turned radioactive after that. Reporters camped outside. One morning, a folded note was slipped under my door. Gold digger. My mom called, crying, asking what was happening. I couldn't explain without breaking her. NNHR summoned me. Beige room. Stale coffee smell. A manager I barely knew looked me in the eye and said, "We're not taking sides," which always means they are. They handed me papers, administrative leave. It's for your own good. Same line he'd used on me before. My skin crawled. NNHE kept sending messages. We can fix this. Delete it and I'll make it disappear. Bouquets piled outside my door. Roses wilted and turned the hallway into a funeral parlor. The stench of dying petals made me gag every time I walked past. Meanwhile, the internet picked me apart. Reddit threads debated if I was brave or manipulative. Twitter threads with thousands of likes. This is abuse of power. She played the game and lost. Classic sugar baby move. My life became entertainment. At work, whispers got meaner. In Houston, a colleague said loud enough for others to hear, "So how's your sugar daddy?" My face burned, but before I could answer, my closest friend tugged me away. "Don't feed them," she whispered. Every time I reached into my pocket and felt that heavy key, I asked myself, was this freedom or just another cage? And the cage kept closing in. The scandal hit cruising altitude when a passenger recognized me mid-flight. She leaned over her tray table, phone in hand, Reddit thread glowing on the screen. "You're the Penthouse girl, right?" My stomach dropped. I plastered on a fake smile and moved down the aisle, but my ears rang for the rest of the flight. NNTHAT night, back at the Penthouse, I confronted him. The glass walls reflected the neon glow of the city. His jacket was tossed over the chair, tie half loose. He didn't look up when he spat, "You've embarrassed me in front of the board," and I fired back, "You embarrassed yourself." NHE stood, chair creaking. His face hardened. "Without me, you're nothing. Don't forget that." Same poison line. But for the first time, I didn't flinch. I'm not deleting anything. I said NNFOR a second. His jaw twitched, his eyes darted, and I saw it. Fear. That was the crack in his armor. NNBUT. The pressure didn't let up. HR called me again. Another beige room. Another folder. This time, a non-disclosure agreement slid across the table. My name already typed. Blank line waiting for my signature. Sign, and this goes away, the HR representative said. I stared at the paper, the black letters blurring. I pushed it back across the table. My heels clicked on the tile as I walked out. NNHE sent more midnight texts. "Don't ruin your future." Flowers appeared again, wilting in the hallway. The smell of rot followed me into my apartment. Then, in London, a colleague leaned close and whispered, "He's finished. They're investigating him. Board meetings, rumors, exit package." My heart pounded. For months, I had been the one shrinking under his shadow. Now, finally, he was the one cornered. When I got back to New York, he was waiting outside my building. Hoodie instead of a suit, trying to blend in. "Get in the car," he said. My hands shook, but I stood my ground. "Do you want me destroyed?" he asked, desperation cracking his voice. And I said, calm as ever, "I don't need to destroy you. You're doing that yourself." I turned and walked away. My footsteps echoed on the sidewalk louder than his voice calling after me. NNTHAT night, I sat in the Penthouse one last time. The key lay on the counter under the lamplight, cold and metallic. It had once felt like power. Now it just felt like weight and NSO. I locked the door, left the key behind, and walked out. Silence followed. But silence wasn't peace. It was strategy. NNHR called me in again. Small, windowless room. Burnt coffee, flickering light. "We're placing you on leave," they said. "It's about optics." That word cut deeper than any insult. Optics. Not truth, not justice. Just appearance. Meanwhile, the internet kept chewing on my life. Headlines. Penthouse girl breaks, CFO. People debated whether my clothes and old photos were gifts from him. Paparazzi shoved pictures of his wife and kids in my face. His daughter's eyes, maybe 16, still haunt me. She hadn't chosen any of this. And then his text, "Meet me, please." Against my better judgment, I agreed. NNWE met in a downtown bar. Dim lights. Jazz humming low. He looked smaller, hunched, suit wrinkled. "I never meant to hurt you," he said. I asked, "Then why did you?" NNHE rubbed his temples. "Because I could." NNTHO's words chilled me more than any threat. Leaving the bar, rain misted my face. For the first time, I wasn't scared. The balance had shifted. NNBUT freedom was messy. HR still had me on leave. Inside the company, rumors spread. He was negotiating an exit. Golden parachute. Millions. He'd land fine. I was left with a nickname, Penthouse Girl. And NHI decided to take back the narrative. I wrote a Reddit post. My confession, my side, raw and unedited. Within hours, it blew up. Thousands of comments. Some cruel, some kind. But at least they were reacting to my words, not whispers. NNTHAT night. In my cramped Queens apartment. Radiator hissing. Neighbors arguing through thin walls. I felt something new, relief. The penthouse silence had been suffocating. This noise, this chaos, it felt alive. Time passed, but the story didn't die. If anything, it evolved. I'd sit in a cafe and hear strangers whisper, "Penthouse Girl," like I was folklore. Articles popped up. Where is she now? What happened to the CFO? My name wasn't mine anymore. It was clickbait. Inside the company, it ended quietly. A friend texted me, "He's out. Retiring." Retiring. Not disgraced, not fired. Retiring with millions. Golden parachute, soft landing. Meanwhile, I was still explaining my nickname in job interviews. Then came his email. Pages long. "You cost me everything. My career, my family, was it worth it?" I stared at the words glowing on my screen, fingers trembling. And then I laughed. Because he still didn't get it. I hadn't taken anything. He gave it up every time he told me, "Without me, you're nothing." Deleting that email felt better than posting the deed ever did. NNBUT survival isn't clean. I still flinch at 3 a.m. when my phone buzzes. I still dream I'm in that penthouse, glass walls closing in. Trauma lingers and NN therapy helps. My therapist asked, "Why did you post it?" My answer was simple. Because silence was killing me faster than exposure ever could. And I meant it. Some friends drifted. One said, "You should have just enjoyed it." I cut her off. If you think control is a gift, you'll never understand. Now I'm rebuilding. Small things. Cooking in my own tiny kitchen. Laughing over cheap wine with friends. Noise. Chaos. Freedom. It feels more real than champagne in private lounges ever did. NNDO. I regret posting? No, meeting him? Sometimes. Believing him? Every day. His line? "Without me, you're nothing," still echoes in my head. But it's quieter now. I don't know what's next. Maybe I'll leave aviation. Maybe I'll write more. Maybe I'll just keep telling the truth until my nickname fades and my real name matters again. NNBUT. Here's the thing. This was never just about me. It's about what happens when someone powerful thinks silence is the price of a gift. NNSO. I'll ask you, if someone handed you the world but demanded your silence, would you accept it? Or would you set it on fire? Because I chose fire. And I'm still standing,